everyone, it's Michael Greenwood. Right, so I very often come across business owners who don't understand this concept, so I thought I'd explain it. And even some kind of more seasoned business owners don't get this when it comes to paid ads. So let me just break this down and unpack this. So it's customer acquisition costs and lifetime value, and the importance of that basically in paid advertising. So if you're looking at Google ads, Meta ads, TikTok, whatever, then this is key. This is the key metric. This is the key performance indicator, the KPI that you need to understand. This is all that really matters, when it comes to understanding your what's coming in, what's going out, and your cash flow and everything when it comes to these transactions in business. So, right, let's break this down. Let's say you've got a business and it just sells one service, one service. So something that comes to mind is relatively low ticket, £300. Repeat businesses are only every 2 years. Let's say the margin is about 50%. So cost of fulfillment altogether is about 150. So they've got 150 gross profit. And the business that's coming to mind that kind of fits that mold is an aesthetics clinic, a solo practitioner, just selling the one thing, which is semi-permanent makeup. So ombre, microblading kind of thing, where it's £300 to have a treatment, including the top up. Round about there, it might be £350. Some do it for like £250. There's a range there. And basically, a customer comes in and they have the treatment, and then they go away and they don't come back for another 2 years if they come back. Yeah. So basically, if that practitioner has nothing else to sell, then that's a bit of a tough business model, because you've constantly got to go on the hunt for new customers. And yeah, you can get customers from your existing customers by asking for referrals, so getting more through word of mouth. But it's a tough business if your lifetime value is, if you break it down to every year, just £75 profit or £100 if you, £150 if you consider your gross. So £300 comes in, 150 unfulfilling, 150 is kept. So that's a tough model. If you add paid ads to that and it's cost you 50 quid, I don't know, to get a customer, obviously your margins are coming down even more. So that's an example. Now, what's this idea of a self-liquidating offer then, an SLO? So a self-liquidating offer is, let's say you sell something for £1,000, and that is that's your product or service that gets people through the door, and then on the back end you're going to upsell them this, that, or the other X, Y, Z to increase the lifetime value, the customer LTV. So a self-liquidating offer would be something like, let's say it costs you £500 to acquire a client. You sell them a product or service at £1,000. It costs you 50% to fulfill altogether, so you've got a 50% gross margin. So 50% is 500. So 1,000 comes in, 500 is going out as ads, 500 is going out as just to deliver the service. So you've got nothing left. You've got break even, but you've got a new customer who you can sell to, and you can upsell them. And the success of the business is going to depend on the LTV, so how much you can sell them on that back end. That might be a monthly retainer, that might be a 12-month contract. Now, let's say that your average lifetime value, and your average lifetime value is calculated, just in case you're not sure, all your revenue divided by number of customers, yeah? And let's say you've been going 10 years, but in the last 5 years, you've dramatically changed your business, so it's no longer relevant. Just take it over a shorter period, but take enough data so it makes sense. So let's say average lifetime value of is 20 grand a year. Yeah. So that means that 20 grand a year, how long does the customer stay? They stay for 5 years. Yeah. So if you stay for 5 years, they're gonna pay you 100 grand. So is it worth you spending £500 on ads to get a customer that's worth 100 grand? That could be worth 100 grand. Now, not every customer is necessarily going to stay for 5 years and pay you 100 grand. Some that might pay you 10 grand, but we're looking at averages. So the thing is, the way to work it out is, if you, for every 10 customers, just sold them something at £1,000 and you never upsold, then you'd be breaking even all the time, and that wouldn't be a profitable business. You wouldn't be losing money, you wouldn't be making money, but you'd be breaking even. So the selling on the back end and upselling is absolutely key for business. That's why, with the example of the aesthetics clinic that I mentioned, they're just selling one thing. They're just selling it for £300. They're making 150 profit. It's not going to be profitable, is it? Well, it's going to be profitable, but it's going to be difficult to the lifetime value is just means you've got to constantly hunt for new clients. So it's difficult one. So the key metric then in paid ads, and this is why most businesses actually fail when it comes to paid ads. And I speak to a lot of business owners who don't understand this concept, and I run through it with them. And some of them still turn around and say, yeah, but if I run ads and then I just break even, then what's the point? I might as well not do it. And then I go into the conversation about upselling and stuff like that. Ah, right, yeah. So with aesthetics clinics, it might be sell them a plan. So after that first event of selling them, something at 300 quid, what can you add? And that is the solution to that business problem. And that is basically increasing the customer lifetime value. But that's why most businesses fail, because they don't get their head around this. Most business owners, they don't get their head around this aspect of paid advertising. But we with one simple metric we can fix this. So it's the CAC and the LTV. So the metric is, if your CAC is higher than the LTV, you're losing money. If your LTV is higher, you're winning. It's as simple as that. So you've got to increase your LTV or reduce your CAC. If you can't reduce your CAC, then you've got to increase your LTV. Now, a lot of businesses, they concentrate on just reducing the cost. They're reducing the cost rather than increasing how much they're making from a customer. You increase how much you're making from a customer, not even by just upselling them something on the back end. You could increase your prices as well. So it's those two metrics to kind of play about with in the business. I mean, most businesses waste money on ads as well because they don't know. They don't know about just implementing a strategy to ask for reviews and ask for more business, ask for referrals basically through word of mouth. So that's another thing. So a little bit of a tangent there. But yeah, just CAC, just remember that is how much it costs you to get a new customer through ads. LTV, that's how much your customer will spend with you over time. And you've got something called churn as well. If you've not heard of churn, then we try to keep that about 5%. So that's customers leaving, customers cancelling. And customers cancel for a number of reasons. Sometimes it's because of lack of results. So you'll get the results really good, give them a great experience. Sometimes it's because they retire or pass away, unfortunately, or they sell the business. And sometimes they sell the business and then there's an incumbent supplier who takes over what you were doing because they've got that existing relationship with that acquiring company. So you can't help churn. It's a part of business. So the core lesson from this is you don't need to make profit on the first sale. If you can create a self-liquidating offer, an SLO, then your ad pays for itself. So you do break even, yeah. And we all want to be in profit, but you make your profit on the back end, right? So your ad pays for itself with the first purchase, and that's a win. But then after that, it's gravy. Everything after that is pure profit. You're essentially acquiring your customers for free, and then everything after that is pure profit. And that's how smart businesses grow and scale. It tends to be in business that the longer of a time horizon that you can think over, the better that you're going to do, the better it's going to work out for you. So it's not that single sale that way. Stop thinking in terms of single sales. And I help a lot of businesses just kind of work out that, the pipeline and what's going on. And there's too many businesses out there where they're just kind of relying on word of mouth, where paid ads actually puts you in touch with more people who you can do business with, and then you can tap into their network. So it accelerates your word of mouth anyway. So it's a complete no-brainer if you've got the money to invest. Now, not every business has got the money to invest. because some business owners bleed the company dry and just take the money out to live on, and they don't reinvest. So I would say the first thing to be able to run paid ads is to build up enough capital reserves to be able to make that sustainable investment, and make it through, the first few weeks and months where it's probably not going to be profitable. You're probably going to make a loss, when it comes to paid ads when you first start, because nothing happens overnight. You need to show the ads to a bunch of people and get the data, so it's just as simple as that, you need to be in the game to play it, really. So if you're running ads, not thinking in terms of CAC versus LTV, then you're essentially in business flying blind, unfortunately. So there's three things that you can do: start tracking the numbers, build offers that self-liquidate, and then you can scale profitably. So you've got look, I'm often asked, is it worth going into that loss leader territory as well? And that depends on how much capital reserve, how much in terms of capital reserves you've got as well, and your risk tolerance. I would say the best thing is to have this break-even ad strategy, and to get your head around this and go with that one. And that works for a lot of my clients. And look, a lot of my clients are also making money on actually positive on the first sale, from ads as well. There's a load like that as well. But if you're in a particularly challenging environment and sector, and you need to, self-liquidating is the only option, then that's absolutely fine as well. I mean, in a lot of the agency space, some of the CAC to acquire a customer could be a few grand, but we can make 100, 200 grand, all kinds on the back end, from acquiring that customer. And just remember, it's a lot harder to get a customer than it is to keep a customer. So as you're upselling these things, you're not just selling something to a business, you're actually helping them to solve problems. And what I do as a digital marketing agency owner is I take my customers through a journey of clarity, because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what works and what doesn't. The customer doesn't know what works and what doesn't, because they're not necessarily an expert in marketing. So I take them through a digital transformation journey as well. So solve the big problem, solve the low-hanging fruit that's going to have the biggest impact, and then help them with different things, and take them on that journey, really. So take them through a digital marketing roadmap, so that their online presence becomes more and more mature over time. So once something's working with this strategy, you can scale it. If you can work out, for example, that for every 10 customers, 2 are going to go with something high ticket. So if all your customers go with the £1,000 offer, and then 2 of them go with the 20 grand, that's 40 grand. You're going to be in profit. Now, if all 10 just go with 1,000, then you're losing 2.5 grand. So you've got to think about that as well. So, but that's not that's not a self-liquidating offer anyway. That's a loss leader. But as long as you could get those, you could get a loss leader working. But a self-liquidating offer would be for every 10 customers, they're all paying £1 grand. Cost of fulfillment is 500. So you're breaking even. You're paying out 5 grand. You're getting 10 grand in. You're paying out 5 grand on fulfillment. That's a self-liquidating offer. And then 2 of those, they pay 20 grand each. So that's 40 grand, and 50% of that is 20. So you've made 20 grand. So for every 10 customers, you can make 20 grand a year. So that's kind of the maths around it anyway. So I hope this has been helpful. So CAC and LTV, the most important KPIs in paid advertising, as far as I'm concerned. If you disagree with me, drop it in the comments. If you've got another viewpoint on this, or if you've enjoyed this video, get in touch. If you want me to run your paid ads, if you want your paid ads to be run by somebody who understands paid ads, been doing it for 16 plus years now. I've started this agency 16 years ago, back in 2009, and I understand business and ads. Because it's hard to find a good plumber, isn't it? It's hard to find a good carpenter. It's hard to find a good roofer. Once you've found one, you want to stick with them, don't you? It's hard to find a good web designer. I mean, there's lots out there offering websites for free, and then you have to pay for your domain name and your you're hosting, but is it any good? It's probably not, is it? So you get what you pay for. If you want to work with somebody who's good, then get in touch.